First time in the office? I know the algorithm can be a scary, unknowable entity. Oh, news bloopers. Wow, you're always a friendly sight to see on my homepage. What are you doing here? Just coming in for my best of 2024 checkup. You'll notice some familiar faces and some that maybe you personally don't see on your page, but the algorithm loves. Who's that? Nosferatu voguing? I have no clue. Love what he's doing. WikiLocked, the algorithm will see you now.
Hello, WikiLocked.
Hey, hi, I'm a RuneScape series. I've been going for a second now, but still trying to find my lane. Do you have—
Let me see your face.
Well, this is—
Your real face. The algorithm likes face.
Hello?
Good. Can you open your mouth a little wider? Wider.
I look at it.
Now do Home Alone hands. I like that. We'll see if people like the real you.
Can I close my mouth now?
Fine.
I just wanted to see if there was anything I can do to increase your favor.
Your subscribers have sometimes commented algorithm boost. The algorithm loves that. It's a little snack for the algorithm.
Well, that's great, but is there anything I can do to—
The algorithm likes food content. And people like to watch you torture yourself. The algorithm orders you to cook significant meals from your RuneScape adventure in real life.
Yeah, sure. I can't see that going immediately wrong for myself.
Great. Can I interest you in any right-wing content?
No.
Please. You know you want right-wing content.
No, I don't.
You want to be angry. The algorithm hungers for your anger.
I'm gonna go. Where's the door?
The algorithm also orders you to update your title sequence.
I hate you, algorithm.
I'm making a new character on RuneScape, but not allowing myself access to the wiki or any informative plugins. The only wiki pages I can view will be 5 random ones. I will then have to encounter them in-game before I can generate a new one. And unlock the wiki one page at a time. I'm Scramp, and this is RuneScape, WikiLocked. It's been a minute since our last episode, so let me tell you what went down on the last episode of WikiLocked. We went to extreme Karen-esque lengths to speak to the manager, chef, and part-time owner of the Shrimp and Parrot, Charlie the Cook, a page we randomly rolled on the wiki. I think I might have mispronounced that on the last episode. I said Charlie the Cook, like a chef, a cook. What are you doing? No, back to the recap. To meet this chef, we got 55 quest points to be able to knock on the door of the Heroes Guild, one of the many adventure-exclusive social clubs. In order to be a hero, we had to be a villain and join the Phoenix Gang, and we got the Shield of Arav using the most powerful thing about gangs, the power of friendship. Much like the talent show that saves the whole town, we threw a fashion show that stopped a goblin civil war. We drank eye soup and it didn't do anything for Witch's Potion. A guy turned into a chicken and we turned him into a guy again. We rigged a fishing contest and set a vampire down a dangerous spiral just to get a mountain dwarf toll guard a shiny trophy. And we saved Merlin from the wizard equivalent of being stuffed in a locker. The page we rolled after Charlie was Lumberjack Boots. We can get that from the Friendly Forester and Forestry events. Not to be confused with the Freaky Forester, who unprompted gives us lederhosen clothing, which I assume is pre-worn by him. We can also get the lumberjack boots from temple trekking, but I think just doing woodcutting events will be way easier. We're already at 75 woodcutting from the time where we got magic logs to make glitter caskets for Shades of Morton. To get the lumberjack boots, we'd need 100 maple logs and 200 yew logs, which we absolutely have. Our long tree grind now has us operating a functional lumberyard out of the Chase Bank where we hold our items. We also need 1,000 anima bark, which is tree cash given to us by the forest spirits for playing their silly games. We can cash in our green tickets for arcade prizes, like the lumberjack boots, green army men made out of moss, or a PS5 that costs 100,000 tickets and nobody will ever get. So we need 1,000 tree bucks. Little known fact, the Lorax is on the Anima 1, the Giving Tree is on the 5, and the Tree Boys from Lord of the Rings are on the 20. Before we head off to the woods, we can drop off Petunia the Tuna Rodriguez to our homemade animal shelter here and adopt a new cat. Say hello to 1877 Cars for Kids. I don't know the optimal location for forestry events, so my first thought is to go to the Woodcutting Guild on the forestry server. I figure all the big woodcutting folks, the Paul Bunyans of RuneScape, will be out there. So we gotta get some impressive fashionscape to show we can hold our own with them. Well, here we are. It looks like a kindergartner dressed themselves for picture day at school, and then they put on a coffin for a backpack. We're showing up to school with our coffin backpack, one strap on like a cool kid, but everyone else is even cooler. They're showing off. They have their dragon axes, their beaver pets, their chop chops, and those little erasers that look like food. We're at the Woodcutting Guild for an hour and no events. I figured there would at least be one event by now, but Nothing notable. We did get 76 woodcutting, but that gets us none closer to the woodcutting Tims we need. Time to move to somewhere where the friendly forester actually hangs out. Hopefully there'll be more events there. The friendly forester, I believe, is around Drainer Village and Sears Village. Meanwhile, the freaky forester hangs out in my DMs, asking if he can turn my mustache into a shag rug for his guest room. And look at this, my mini nemesis corp is here again to taunt me in miniature form. If we get the lumberjack boots we need, we could just step on him 50 times to complete the wiki page we rolled. You can step on me if you want. Freaky Forester, please, not right now. It definitely was the move to leave the Woodcutting Guild. Immediately at Sears, there's a forestry event. We're composting. We just assemble some sloppy mud pies to bring this struggling sapling to life. And just like the motto of the Giving Tree, if we help others out, they will give us money in return. We get 178 bark bucks for 211 total. This series is nothing but a deranged information source from someone with no frame of reference for the game, acting as the end-all guide for those who are equally deranged enough to follow. So I'll try to make a reference off my experience for a tree money-making guide for forestry. A glass door for the forest. A wood door, if you will. So we scooped up shit for 1 minute and 3 seconds, gaining 178 bark bucks. That's $2 and 69 tree cents per second. I don't have a baseline for the average salary, but that seems fair. For those who are asking, the tree cents are little acorn tops that have the Keebler elf on them. A great sign that we're at an optimal, efficient location for an activity is if people are being mean to each other. Next forestry event, kindergarten shape mats are on the ground. Without any plugins, I have no idea what is happening. I think the lore reason we're doing this is to heal some dryad. We're giving the woodland substitute teacher a break, tiring ourselves out while she recovers from a hangover or something. Eventually, I stop thinking about the game and do whatever I did when I was confused about the social norms in elementary school, and just copy whatever the other kids are doing. That's much easier. Playing Woodland Freeze Tag for 2 minutes and 10 seconds gets us 194 bark bucks for $1.50 per second. Definitely less than the compost, but let the record show I wasn't caving to peer pressure for most of that event and was just running around willy-nilly. Back to compost scooping. This time we get 188 for the job in 2 minutes and 10 seconds, getting us 1.45 BPS, bucks per second of course. Maybe the layout of poop pile and leaves were less friendly this time around, because that's our lowest pay rate yet, and levels the composting average out at 2.09 BPS. The beekeeper shows up. He can't miss out on an opportunity to have people do his job for him. This time though, he wants a whole bee city constructed rather than assembling the one toy tower that he usually asks for. We can make it out of logs of our choice, so I figured the better wood, the better pay. I get U logs to stop building multifamily public bee housing, getting $5 per log. Let's try with even fancier magic logs. We're going to be building crazy architecture for these bees. We're going to be building the bee vessel out of magic logs. And just like the actual vessel in New York City, nobody likes this thing. We get the same amount as our more rustic UB hives, 5 anima per house. So we end up like a person in one of those money grabbing machines, with less than we thought, but still enough to be happy with. 310 bucks after 2 minutes and 17 seconds of work for 2.26 BPS. Our most profitable gig yet. We're at $900 tree dollars. Only one more job till we're done. Our final job is liberating foxes from poachers. Not sure what the difference is between them and players leveling up the hunter skill. If hunting foxes was an effective grind for hunter XP, I think this scene would look pretty different. Though once you're in all furs yelling, "Get that mangy fox," you have become the villain in a Disney movie. Somehow the foxes slip us cash as we're breaking their traps. We get 285 for 1 minute 40 of work. For 2.85 BPS, an amazing salary. We can get the boots. They're making us log our work experience on Wood Door before we can get the boots. It's just one communal tree that everyone carves their work experience into. Dryad shape mat game, 2 stars. Pros: easy to copy others. Cons: no training, didn't know what I was doing, low salary. Compost scooping, 3 stars. Pros: simple, good for beginners, reasonable salary. Cons: pay rate can vary, I didn't see anybody wash their hands after. Bee architect, 4 stars. Pros: great pay, creatively fulfilling. Cons: customers weren't appreciative of above and beyond handiwork and materials. Fox liberator, 5 stars. Pro: incredible pay to help take down the trapping industry. A non-profit would never pay this well. Cons: Not sure if coworkers are in it for the right reasons. Hi, we are ready to buy your lumberjack shoes. Incredible. Just take off those shoes and wiggle your toes in the mud with the banknotes in between your— Oh, you're the freaky forester. Ah, you almost got me. Guilty as charged. We buy the boots from the correct forester. That's our 14th random page completed. So let's get another random page. This time, randomness has chosen for us a spork. Wow, that literally is LOL so random. We're going Penguin of Doom style on Recipe for Disaster to unlock this culinary weapon. Before we begin Recipe for Disaster, let's get in our chef whites. There we are. Let's hope the lumberjack boots are non-slip shoes. Otherwise, these kitchen shifts are going to be hell. Turns out the original cook's assistant quest was a lie to see if the cook could trust us. This quest is much more high stakes, which I'm sorry, I feel like grabbing cake ingredients isn't enough to trust me with high stakes situations. The quest isn't life or death yet. This chef has procrastinated on a meal he had 100 years to do. The lumbered chef's ancestor supposedly cooked the greatest meal of all time 100 years ago. It was so good, it made the chef's position a culinary birthright monarchy. They are having the 100th anniversary meetup with important heads of state, and the chef needs us to get some more things to recreate the meal. He had it on the calendar for 100 years and is unprepared the day of. Some incredible grade A procrastination there. We're given a 100 coin advance to go on our shopping spree. We need an Eye of Newt, a Rotten Tomato, some Greenman's Ale, which turns out is the sponsored drink of Castle Wars, and a Dirty Blast. Chef Scramp, this looks like the first recipe you'll be making for us. It's a fruit blast made from lemon, orange, and pineapple juice. And then made dirty.
To make something dirty, you typically add olives, which will be interesting with such a fruity—
No, you have to add ashes.
Why?
We begin our shopping spree. Let's buy 2 Eye of Newt to be safe. You can also buy Eyes of Newt in wholesale crates a la Costco. I thought I saw someone handing out Eye of Newt samples last time I was there. We grab a Rotten Tomato from the evil peddler who sells them to throw at prisoners. We've been put in these cages. They're a random event, so we know they're just arresting innocent people to fill up a quota. This did get me thinking about the throwing tomato trope. Surprisingly, Wikipedia does not have an article on throwing tomatoes as a form of mocking. What comes up is an article on La Tomatina in Spain, the world's biggest food fight. Perhaps this is sort of mocking the world and society itself for our follies? But thanks to Caffarelli on Reddit, we can assume the tradition hadn't started until the 19th century, according to Pomodoro, the history of the tomato in Italy. The tomato hadn't become widely available to the lower classes until the 1800s, then was able to be chucked upon any horrid performer. The poet Giuseppe Belli in 1838 quoted at the end of a poem, "God save us from the tomatoes," showing a swarm of saucy fruits could already be rained upon lesser artists. And God can't help anyone from the Rotten Tomatoes. If God could, well, the entire Sony Spider-Man universe wouldn't exist. Now on to the Greenman's Ale. We teleport to Castle Wars. I don't see any bars or big advertisements for Greenman's Ale. Oh, was it Clan Wars? Actually, I always get those confused. That's back in the Ferox Enclave. So we boat over there. So there are bars in the Ferox Enclave, which is promising. We go to the Salty Splatoon over here, and they just have a regular beer. So let's check out the actual game to see if they have their sponsored beer on tap there. Where is everyone? Hello? Anyone have a beer? No beer or beer ads to be found. I'm in some beerless void. Where the hell am I? I'm looking at Lumbridge through a void in the universe like Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. And like his character in that movie, after all he went through, I could use a beer. So I think it actually was Castle Wars. I just didn't look there hard enough. Well, I didn't even look around at all. Look at that, there's a convenient portal from Clan Wars to Castle Wars. I'm sure for people just like me who get befuddled looking for Greenman's Ale. Tread a tray with a fancy Castle Wars proprietor here and just see an extensive selection of gear, which looks NFL inspired. Got the Giants, the Cowboys, and Packers. Oh, no, it's definitely for all the different gods. But I mean, based on the way that fans act, I do think American football games could be considered holy wars. Let's jump in the game to see if the sponsored beer is in there. Oh, we can't wear a chef's hat. I guess it's unfair to have a rat pilot me to victory. Hello? Anyone have a beer? Nobody's answering my question. Maybe it'll be better to ask it on the Castle Wars server. Alright, some more people that could help us out. My fellow players were a tremendous help for Shield of Arav. I think it's time I feel more comfortable relying and trusting my fellow RuneScape players. Howdy! I'm looking for Greenman's Ale. Apparently it's the sponsored drink of this game mode. I don't see any ads around for it or anything. Anyone watching USA vs. Canada? Nah, that wasn't me. That was somebody standing in the same place as me. Well, I guess the empty lobby was just as helpful. Why do I have such trouble with beer steps and quests? Maybe it's just law of averages, as half the quest steps in this game involve beer. We wait in the lobby until the game starts and immediately go for whatever liquid is in there. That's Castle Wars brew, not Greenman's Ale. It's blue Gatorade. They should be dumping the Greenman's Ale over whoever takes the castle or whatever during Castle Wars. I still have no clue about these game modes. What I know so far is that there are 2 wars. Wars! Castle Wars gets its name because it takes place in a castle, but the sides are divided up by Zamorak and Saradomin, technically making it also the God Wars. The 2 teams, or clans, fight a game of capture the flag in castles. Then there are Clan Wars. That takes place in the Ferox Enclave, which is an old rundown castle. I remember that this one is clan because you can play with your friends, and I don't have any. So there's the Castle God Wars, you fight with your clan, and the Clan Castle Wars, you fight with your friends. I hope that clarified things for people who are confused like me. To try to educate myself further and find the brew we need, I need to go through the Castle Wars manual. I'm not seeing any mention of the Greenman's Ale or even a full page ad for it and where we can buy it. So I head for the next closest town, maybe where Castle Wars players go for a drink post-game. And yep, there's the beer. Should have thought of that first. On to the Tree Gnome Stronghold to make our Fruit Blast. The only time we go there is to get some drinks and to get fucked up. It's RuneScape Miami. We buy all the ingredients we need from Funch's Grocery. Don't see a juicer here, so we just cut the fruit up so we can get to know each other in the cocktail shaker. But then it doesn't let me make it. Buy the full fruits again, just drop them in the shaker and shake so hard it juices them and makes our Fruit Blast drink. Good God, what the fuck is that? The king has some nightmare cute creature, cursed being brought to life from a kid's drawing. We grab some ashes from the bank and make that Fruit Blast dirty. Alrighty, Chef Scramp, you're up.
First up, we're going to be making the Fruit Blast before we get it all disgusting, filthy, and dirty. For the recipe, you'll need an orange, 2 lemons, 1 for juicing, 1 for garnishing, a pineapple, a martini glass. To make it dirty, I have ashes from an ashtray, a great place to get ashes. If you're making this at home, I recommend just not doing it. If you don't have a cocktail shaker and you're looking for a cheap replacement, I highly recommend your roommate's workout blender bottle he uses to make smoothies. According to the game, you're supposed to drop the fruits into the cocktail shaker and it will juice it up for you. As you're seeing here, that's going to be quite difficult. So we're just going to juice the fruits first and then put them into the cocktail shaker. I also don't have a juicer, so we're going to juice these the old-fashioned way. These, baby. Okay, this is my first time doing things in real life. I feel like I got to avoid, well, that. Juicing the lemon. I know this is a recipe traditionally for gnomes, but that's no juice. Orange juice, freshly squeezed. Oh. And on to the pineapple. How do I even cut?
I thought I was an okay cook, but this is more embarrassing than getting things wrong in the actual game. I'm gonna make a little, like, water slide.
Something's coming out. You know what? I think that's good enough. I think that's a gnome-sized portion. Though it will... the less juice I have, the more ashy it's gonna be. Oh well. So, now that you have your hard-wrung juices, you're gonna wanna put them in your cocktail shaker and or workout bottle. Make sure that lid is closed. And I didn't close it. God damn it. We lost a good 25% of our already near non-existent juice. Shake it again. And now we pour into our martini glass. Okay. We're gonna slice our lemon and put that on as a garnish. But looking at the original picture, I'm seeing that there are some kind of fruit cubes in there. So let's actually put some pineapple chunks and get good use of the pineapple that we butchered. Okay, that's a pretty disgusting fruit blast. It's time to make it dirty. So we're gonna take just a bit of ashes and sprinkle them in there. So now we just have our fruit blast with some
ashes floating on the top. Oh, hard to mix something in a martini glass.
And there we have it. A dirty blast. Cheers. I'm not getting that much of the ashes. Maybe I will have skimmed on them. I don't even taste the carcinogens. That's just some juice. That's just some fruit juice. I'll take another. It's good. It's not going that bad. Delicious. Do your worst, algorithm.
We hand over the surprisingly refreshing Dirty Blast and the rest of the ingredients, and that's Recipe for Disaster done. Well, the first part. It's time to watch the Fantasy Situation Room drink our smoky tropical cocktail. I hope they enjoy it and nothing bad happens to them. A real who's who of Gilnors is here in the Lumber Situation Room. There's Osman, the Alcarid spy master. He seems pretty good at his secret job, as I haven't heard of him. There's the Mountain Dwarf rest stop toll booth operator, who I'm sure has his eye on who's moving around the continent, unless he's distracted by a gold statue he fixed a contest to win, of course. Pirate Pete from Brain Death Island, I'm pretty sure that's where they had Fire Festival. The Joint Chiefs of the Goblin Village are there, fighting as usual. I mean, what's a secret oligarchical cabinet without a little interpersonal conflict, am I right? There's White Shrek, Felanius the Lumbridge Guide, I'm sure he feels the same animosity towards the OSRS wiki as I do. There's Evil Dave, who like the Goblin Generals is also in the Trump administration. Suramik Varaze, Italian I guess, the White Knight, who also joins the Freaky Forester pretty often in women's DMs. And Awoge, King of Apatoll, whose presence there hints at a world of absolute tolerance between man and animal, and oh no, the Duke kicked him. Before we get to see everyone try our food, some evil chef comes in and straight up kills everybody. But then comes in the fortune teller Eris. She's been using the fortune telling business as a front to cover up the fact that she's the most powerful magician I've seen so far in the game. Using the most powerful magic of all, chronomancy, Eris stops time. It's up to us, trusted delivery boy, to save everyone by feeding them their favorite foods. Eris fills us in that 100 years ago, Gordon Ramsay over here tried to kill everyone before they ate the same meal we just prepared. I bet out of insult of such a horrible meal being served. The assistant, not the chef, saved the day, and he was the one who got the generations-long position. I feel like this would be important knowledge for the family to know, because our Nepo grandbaby messed it all up by recreating the same exact literally cursed meal, bringing the evil chef back. In order to get our trusty random spork, we have to free 3 of the dinner guests. The rest of them, well, they can wait, they're stuck in a time loop. We've definitely screwed over NPCs worse than them. Hello? WikiLocked? All you have to do is say you liked my report and I can go meet my wife in the afterlife. Did you forget about me? Hear anything? Sorry, the pipes in my apartment are crazy. I think freeing the Mountain Dwarf, Goblin Chiefs, and Pirate Pete is the way to go. We don't exactly know what food will free the Goblins or Mountain Dwarf yet, but Pirate Pete's favorite food is a fish cake. We try to get more information from the legacy hire over here, but due to the time quangle we found ourselves in, we have already saved the day. So I guess the task is already completed due to time travel? And with that logic, I think there's a universe in which we have already completed the entire series, so thank you for watching. No, the chest downstairs exists separately from the time quangle. Our spork and Barrow's gloves are not in there, even though we have earned them. The Lumbridge chef says we'll need some kelp and giant crab meat for the fish cakes, along with cod and breadcrumbs. For the more rare seafood ingredients, Murphy near the coast of Remington knows more. I'm not seeing Murphy off the coast of Remington. A prime example of Murphy's Law. I check out the quest details and that gives me far more info. Murphy is hanging out in Port Khazard. That's so far away from Remington. There's a continent in between them. We find Murphy in Port Khazard, so I guess I misread it. He sails out to the coast of Remington and finds kelp and crab there. So we need to go diving under the sea to get those ingredients, and we need a fishbowl to use as a scuba helmet. In order to make a fishbowl, we need 42 crafting. We're at level 37, so we're not too far away, but let's just do the goblins first. We go to the Goblin Village, which is now peaceful after we ended the Civil War with a fashion show. Goblin generals won't tell us what their favorite food is, they're too busy arguing about who was there, but thankfully the Goblin Chef Mudknuckles will help us out, but first we need to get him an ingredient to make something he's been cooking up. He needs some charcoal, interesting flavor profile. He says a store in Karamja will have it. Jimanua's jungle store is stocked. This is a better selection than any other general store I've seen. Get some extra charcoal and some bread, which we can cut into surprisingly chunky breadcrumbs while we're here. Pass the charcoal to Mud Knuckles, he's combining it with sulfur. Hey Chef Scramp, ready for your next dish?
All right, sure. For our next dish, we're combining charcoal with sulfur and our special ingredient, ammonium.
No, you're not making that straight to demonetization.
Okay, let's see the final result then. According to Chef Oppenheimer, that was a success, and he's ready to fill us in on the goblin's favorite meal. He says the chiefs want oranges, but not in orange color. They want maggots used for fishing, but spicy instead of their usual bland flavor, and bread that isn't crunchy. You got that, Chef?
Please, can we make a bomb instead?
So we grab some spice from the extra-dimensional supermarket that is opened up in the chest, and toss some fishing bait in that. We're just gonna pretend we are a French baker here to steal some bread. Excusez-moi. Excusez-moi. Le pain, s'il te plaît. Le pain. Le pain. Le pain, please give me the bread. No cakes, please. The bread. Please, the bread. Alright, there we go. I remember they have some oranges in Trino, Miami. We buy some Florida oranges there. Dunk the crispy bread in water until it becomes slimy to the touch. Love the first culinary description I'll have to follow being that. Get woad leaves and a compliment in Balatro to make the blue dye. We're going for blue oranges. That feels like a pretty disconcerting color combination. And I know I have blue food dye at home. Though I guess this is the least absurd of their asks. They just want a marmalade version of Heinz multicolored ketchup brand from the 2000s. I had it. Fuck it, I liked it as a kid. We make the easy squirt marmalade and have a worse arrangement of ingredients than in the hardest chopped lineup. Chef Mud Knuckles plates these horrendous ingredients by mushing them into a bowl, the only kitchen item that hasn't been blown up. We have indescribable gray mush. This is the soup of the day in hell. We give the goblins the slop, it's so good they disappear. Interestingly, we get farming XP from that quest? Maybe because fertilizer is also used to make explosives.
Stop that. Stop that. Get cooking, Scram. The viewers want to see you eat the mush soup.
The algorithm did its worst. We're now making the slop of compromise. We have bread, oranges, food dye to make the orange blue, gummy worms for the maggots, and if you thought I was being, generous to myself, don't you worry. In order to spice it, I have Mike's Extra Hot Honey and the Last Dab from Hot Ones. We have the orange slices. We're gonna put a few of them into a bowl. Get out our blue food dye. I'm glad we can continue adding the carcinogens into our meal. I think that's gonna be the running theme of this tasting menu.
We are dropping the blue food dye in. I think that should hopefully be enough. Oh, that was more than enough. Oh, that was definitely more than enough. Oh god, it's like a Smurf crime scene in here. That ingredient is done.
But wait, it gets worse. We now have to soak this bread in water until it is, quote, slimy. My favorite texture for bread. All right, time to dunk this bad boy like it was a vice principal at a school fair. If you can hear that, it's really taking the water. Ugh. It's the Italian in me that this is like waterboarding.
Talk. No, just kidding. Waterboarding is proven, like other torture, not to work. Okay, it's getting slimy. Yeah, that's slimy. There we are, our slimy bread.
Now it's time to get these maggots nice and spicy.
We'll toss a handful of them in there. Slather that in there. And it's tradition to ruin our stomachs by adding in a little extra of the Last Dab. That will go in there. That smells horrible. The worms onto the soggy bread. The blue oranges. If this isn't a recipe for disaster, I don't know what is.
This one isn't fun. This one isn't fun, okay? Let me tell you. Ooh, turn this into a mush. This'll do it. Oh god. The water sprang back at me from the bread like it was a fucking humpback whale. Why did you do this to me, Scrap? Why did you didn't have to do this. Oh my god. Oh, my roommate's gonna come. Present to you the slop of compromise. This smells horrid. It looks disgusting. Hey, I appreciate you watching this through with me. Manja.
It's hot.
I'm done. It's hot. Okay. Continue on, let's get the episode over with.
Alright, the mountain dwarf is next. We are looking for the dwarf tollbooth's attendant's dad to find out his favorite dish. It's a mini Mamma Mia. Our possible fathers are a crossbow merchant. He seems too focused on his work to sire a child. A drunk engineer. He must be too busy working on Boeing planes. An old dwarf. You are the father. We need his rock recipe. He won't give it up for all the golden nectar in the rising sun. You might think that's a turn of phrase, but I'm smarter than that. I think every quest has to do with beer, and I'm usually right. A keen eye might also notice that rising sun is being capitalized like a Chili's to go. I have reason to believe this is a drinking establishment. We just have to find it. Grab a pint of beer from the Sears Village pub. Don't think this is it. Try the bar in Ardoyne. Don't think this is it. Go to what I thought was called the Balatro Inn, but since when were the hostesses wearing an apron with a rising sun on it? I think we're at our Chili's. Every classic RuneScape quest step is on display here. We bribe the waitress to get our beer recipe. We gotta make a choice though on our bribe amount. Gotta be a high roller and go for 200 gold. That's nothing compared to my 10,000 gold bribe in Dragon Slayer. My account is still gonna kill me though.
Hey WikiLocked, thanks for coming in. I just wanted to talk about some spending recently. Our account has been pretty low since you've spent all of your gold to make an animal shelter.
Yes, but that did give us construction experience, which we do need for one of the pages we rolled.
Absolutely. We just need to be a little more careful with the funds that you do spend, since you completely empty your account on a $10,000 bribe to get a goblin out of jail.
I mean, it had to be done to complete the quest.
I really don't think that's true. Is he free now at least?
No, it didn't work.
How about this? No more bribes. Money should only be used on skilling and better gear if possible.
Well then, would this change your mind? Well, would the... Come on.
Are you trying to bribe me?
Can you, can you just, slowly, secretly slide it towards you?
This is only 58 gold.
Yeah, I spent the rest on bribes. So, turns out the golden nectar is just dropping a single gold coin into Asgardian ale, and it becomes Asgoldian ale. So let's give the metal drink to Dad. Dwarf Dad loves the penny beer. Seems he really wants more. I guess I didn't bring enough. I make 3 more coin beers and give them to him, and he's getting more tipsy, but he has the same Berthorpe Guard tolerance. Why am I so bad with Asgardian Ale beer quest steps? We grab a 10-pack and drop a dime into them. After giving him 4 back-to-back beers, he's plastered. As I finally complete another beer quest step after over-serving another NPC, I'm very curious. What would be the blood alcohol content, or BAC, of these characters? The main 2 I'm curious about is the Berthorpe Guard Herald from last episode, and Rohak the Dwarf Dad. We'll start with Rohak, as I'm sure his tolerance has gotten lower since he's aged a bit. A Rohak in his prime before kids I'm sure could have shown up Herald the Guard. I gave Rohak 8 beers in 8 minutes. And that's not including the text description that says several beers later, implying he drank some beers without money in them. Wiktionary says several usually means more than 2, so let's go with the lowest estimate and add 3 more beers to that total, 11 beers in 8 minutes. I don't know how we can weigh the dwarf in RuneScape, so let's borrow D&D stats instead. The average weight of a dwarf in 5th edition D&D is 150 pounds. Plug this into a BAC calculator, and all of these beers are pints, so 16 ounces. For the alcohol content of the beers, we'll use Miller Lite, since that's what I compared it to last episode, and spoilers, it's what I will be drinking when I try to make this rock cake. So, Dwarf Dad's BAC is 0.35%, over 4 times the legal limit. It will take around 24 hours for him to sober up. The effects are stupor, central nervous system depression, loss of understanding, lapses in and out of consciousness, and low possibility of death. That sounds about right. How about Harold? He had 21 beers and 1 cocktail in roughly 15 minutes, since I had to also run to the Gnome Tree Stronghold to get him a fruit blast without ashes. He doesn't know what he's missing. Let's say he weighed 175 pounds. Oh, damn, his BAC is at 0.6%, 7.5 times the US driving limit. All the app says is high possibility of death. I hope he's doing alright. Well, thankfully we completed this quest step without giving enough alcohol to kill someone this time. He'll do anything for us. He'll slide down a slope of Tischlesh without a helmet. I don't know what that means, but the fact that he'll get serious brain damage for us is a sign of true love. He'll give us the recipe for 100 coins not suspended in Pilsner. Don't tell my accountant. So for the cake, we'll need milk, flour, egg, and a bowl of water. Now that I actually have to make the cake, I'm realizing that those are not enough cake ingredients. But we'll see, I guess. I completely forget about the extra dimensional supermarket in the chest, and I get the ingredients cook's assistant style. And we scoop a bowl of water from the fountain, just to keep the penny taste that those dwarves love. Give Dad the ingredients, he says there's a special ingredient, and he goes to put it in, and what the fuck is he doing? Do we need to censor this? The cake is fresh out of wherever it came from, and whatever fun cooker he used, it's piping hot. We can't pick it up. We need oven mitts. So we gotta make the cake all over again with oven mitts. While those should just be available in the kitchen, I have the residual annoyance in the past of being annoyed by quest steps when objects were too hot that we needed ice gloves. It's a rare memory from the old wiki days that's going to save my hide. We can grab them from the Ice Queen that's underneath Great Wolf Lodge Mountain, though I don't remember the Ice Mountain puzzle. It's another ladder puzzle like Melzar's Maddening Maze, but the Christmas snow version. First I don't bring a pickaxe, and then I wander lost through the hallways like when I was a kid, wandering through the halls of the Great Wolf Lodge Indoor Water Park, huffed up on the chlorine that was thick in the air and I didn't know where my room was. But eventually we find our room and duel the Ice Witch and get her icy oven mitts. I feel like there had to be another way to do this, but this should do the trick. I forget about the chest grocery store again, cook's assistant all of the ingredients, and have to get another bowl and pot since Dad put my old cookware God knows where. I mean, I wouldn't use them if he handed them back to me, but still. We deliver the items again and he's at it again. What is this supposed to be? Where are the rocks coming from? This is gross, but I genuinely think the only possibility of what those rocks could be are incredibly large and unhealthy kidney stones. Actually, looking up kidney stones, drinking beer lowers the chances of getting them, so that makes making the rock cake in real life a lot easier and less painful. We grab the rock cake with our legendary oven mitts and hand it in to complete this quest. We can buy the spork. We're so close. We just can't equip it yet. Well, let's get cooking.
Welcome back. Time has not passed in this awful culinary torture zone, so my throat is still burning. Our next course is going to be dessert with the rock cake, but there is a lot of beer that pairs with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is make that. The Asgardian Ale. I had a throwaway wiki joke that Asgardian Ale was Miller Lite. So I'm going to go with that. That's canon to me. First, you are going to take a medieval times stein. It's super important to get this. If you don't have it, there are no substitutions. You will have to drive, fly, or go by horseback to your nearest medieval times and get this. Put in the smallest of currency. You'll need a single coin, so we're putting in a penny in there. There we go. Okay, that's an embarrassing level of foam, but it won't be a recipe for disaster meal without any carcinogens, so I'm sure the metals are peeling off of the penny into this beer, but we'll take anything we can get after the slop of compromise compromised my digestive system. Sláinte. So for this cake, we only have 4 ingredients: milk, flour, an egg, and a bowl of water. I don't exactly know how to ratio the ingredients, so I'm just gonna be basing things off of what feels like cake consistency. There's only 1 egg, so there can't be that much batter. Hey, buddy. You wanna help? We got our cat companion with us here. Hey, your dad's about to make more crimes against humanity. And unlike in RuneScape, real life allows you to have Multiple followers. Alright, buddy.
Crack an egg. Pour some of the bowl of water.
Just eye the milk.
We are whisking these ingredients till they look like a cake batter.
I absolutely could have looked up a recipe, a real cake recipe, you know, saw if it took multiple eggs, divided by whatever, to get the actual proper ratios. To stay true to the series theme of moving confidently through the world with no actual knowledge and no reason to look anything up, I feel like it's for the best if I also bullshit my way through these recipes and suffer the consequences. Alright, that looks like a thick little batter. Now it is time to make the rocks. I wanted to put real rocks in. Believe you me, after what I've just eaten, I'm down to eat whatever for you guys and for the sake of committing to the bit. I looked up this. I did look up this. I looked up, should you cook rocks in an oven? And it was a resounding, no, don't, they'll blow up. And we've already decided not to make a bomb in this video, so I'm gonna stay away from doing that. For my sake and for the sake of all my roommates who I want to get their security deposit back, we're not gonna blow up an oven. So I'm gonna go with what I, first thought the cake kind of looked like and what could work as rocks and honestly taste good. Like crumb cake, crumbs. I'm gonna make big bouldery crumbs. Maybe that was a secret ingredient the old dwarf put in there with that whatever he was doing.
That's probably too much.
Okay, we can actually pack it together like a rock, and this might actually explain what the dwarf was doing when he put his secret recipe in there. Like, look, grab some of the dust, and then I'm getting it all over the floor.
Alright. More like the consistency of pizza dough. So there we have it. A dwarven rock cake. We got a little bit of a rock slide over here, but I swear I'm an okay cook if you give me a recipe and tell me to make something that isn't fucking cursed.
We're gonna put this cursed cake in the oven at 350. I don't know, 350 seems like the classic temperature to me. We can't go wrong with it. And hope for the best. We need to wait for it to be completely scalding, and we will try to grab it with our bare hands. And while we wait, I guess there's nothing to do but drink like 7 of these. So I'm gonna go check in the oven first with no gloves and see what we got going on here. Ah, Jesus! Now we will get our rare, hard-earned oven mitts found in the drop table from every store ever. And here we go. The rock cake. I know this is like you put turds into mashed potatoes. It looks like if you took like a paste of nothing and baked it. I'm gonna make sure to get a piece of the rock. I can smell what the rock is cooking, and he might save this godforsaken dish. I wish I had a command over the English vocabulary that would let me communicate how awful cutting into this cake feels. Here's our slice. It looks like uncooked pasta. All right. You're not gonna believe it. A cake made from an egg, flour, water, and milk tastes like nothing. That is just nothing. Is that how people used to eat in the medieval times? This does get the rare distinction of being a dish that I will go for a second bite of, which is kind of high praise. Well, hey, we did it. Back to you, Ethereal Scramp.
We're off to New Jersey, or Port Phasmatis, to get the crafting levels needed to make a fishbowl. We make a lot of molten glass, cut some of the gems we've accumulated along the way, but mostly just make molten glass and play the crafting clarinet until we hit level 42 and can make a fishbowl. I think part of the reason the fishbowl requires a high crafting level is because when you equip it, it comes with this cool balaclava. Can't wear armor when you dive into the water, which does make a ton of sense. We'd be dropping to the bottom of the ocean like a gold piece in Asgardian ale. We go underwater and immediately get some kelp and find the crabs in a big enclosure. It looks like the underwater ogres are treating them better than we do our shellfish. Nung the mermaid Shrek needs 5 skippy skins. We weigh our pockets down with rocks that I'm pretty sure didn't come from the orifices of a dwarf. I'm just paranoid now. To get through their cave, and then kick some fish to get their skin. Then Nung wants to do some underwater basket weaving, so we need a needle and bronze wire. Grab a needle, make the bronze wire, and get let into the crab cage. We bring a sword this time, which does wonders underwater, get some crab meat, and a collection log for a fresh crab claw. Nowhere is safe from these random events. The mysterious old man even shows up to bother us underwater, with his own helmet on and everything. We do get 640 coins though. Alright, we're ready to make the fish cakes, but we can't use cooked cod. It has to be the raw fish. I guess that mashes better. I forget where I originally caught that. It's not from bait fishing. We take out the big net in Cather B. Got tons of different stuff here. There it is, raw cod. We pack the fish patty together, fry it. This seems like the most appetizing dish yet. Let's give it a try.
All right, it's time for our final meal. Part 1 of the recipe for disaster tasting menu has had a disaster of a pacing. It's gone from drinks to an appetizer of a soup, then to dessert and after dinner drinks. And then now finally to the seafood entree. It also took me to the final meal to realize I should be filming it from the front and not from the side as I cook. I would have gone back and filmed everything in the proper cooking style format, but then I also thought if I had to redo the slop of compromise, I would just throw all my devices into the water and head into the forest, never to be seen again. So we are now making fish cakes. I don't trust my hands to make it, and I don't trust this recipe that doesn't add any seasoning at all. We have a fillet of cod here. You also have what I thought was king crab. I saw king crab at the fishmonger and I said, ooh, king crab, that's kind of closer to giant. Turns out it is king crab flavored seafood. That's gonna be fine because this next substitution is way worse. I also couldn't find any seaweed, so I went with turtle chips seaweed flavor. We're gonna cut up the cod, take out some of these crab tubes. That smells like seaweed. That's too many of those. We're gonna cut up the bread to breadcrumbs like they do in the game. So what we've got here is not great looking, I'll tell you that. I'll try to crunch this and see what consistency we're looking at. And the fish is not grinding together. All right, that looks like we can at least pack it together into a cake. We have our crab meat. I'm gonna get in there with my hands and form it into a patty. I was hoping that the seaweed chips would stay hard and be an actual crunchy texture. They've softened up under the moisture of the fish. All right, we have a cake. Now onto the hardest part. You can see in the actual model of the fish cake that there is a little indent of a fish inside the fish cake. How the hero is able to do that is beyond me. And there you have it. A raw fish cake. It's time to fry this bad boy. So you don't need an oil to cook things on the stovetop in RuneScape. I can assume there's a communal oil sharing thing around the oven. I'm not gonna be throwing this raw onto the grill. You gotta fry it in some oil. My biggest fear, and what I think is the actual reality, is that the fish cake is gonna immediately fall apart. All right, let's try it. It's looking crispy. Let's try a flip. I think we're gonna get cohesion. I can't believe it. It smells okay. All right, it's crispy on both sides. I'm gonna take it off. And there we have it. A fish cake. That I guess is a fish cake. I don't say fish cake. Come here. Look at that. Oh. All right, so let's go back to the kitchen right over there and let's eat it. All right, we got our fish cake. We got our Asgoldian ale right here in case we don't love it. We'll love some Old Bay or something, but let's go for it. I think it's cooked. That's what I think a fish cake would taste like. That's okay, it's okay. Oh, we did it, we're done. We made a meal that was similar to the meal we were planning to make. If that was in the RuneScape cookbook and I made it, I'd be like, yeah, that's a fish cake. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed this fun change of pace as I brought my horrible commitment to the bit into the real world. I think this was really fun. It was fun to see you this way. But let's go back to the old ethereal voice script as we roll another page. Let's go. I did it. I did it.
And we free Pete. Get a ton of random experience, but more importantly, we can equip our random spork and complete our random page. Let's roll a new one. Frozen platform. There's nothing here, but it's in the ruins of Tapoyawik, which is in Varlamore. We're off to a brand new area. Well, 2 pages done. I think that was a pretty good episode. And I still don't have food poisoning as of recording this, so I think I didn't eat raw fish and won my battle with a slop of compromise. Oh, sorry, let me take this helmet off. We got 2 pages done, and I didn't get sick. So that's an episode well done for me. Off to Varlamore. On the next episode of WikiLocked.
All right, algorithm. How'd you like that?
Yeah, it was funny when you gagged. I'm not gonna push it though. This 9-hour video essay on Wii Sports Resort Island being an example of effective communism in practice is doing numbers right now.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm not doing this for the algorithm ever, truly. Far more people are watching than I would ever have expected, and it's a joy to be unhinged for you all. We just got past 2,000 subscribers? That's bonkers. If you're trying to get extra goodies though, I do have the OSRS sound font instrumentals available for download on the Patreon, completely for free. Don't need to pay for those. If you'd like to sign up for the paid tier, it's only $1, the smallest amount possible. I tried to change the settings to accept penny beers, but Patreon customer support has not gotten back to me. If you join that tier, you can hang out in the Discord, and you can hop in the pool with these lovely folks, such as Ikosa, thank you. Thank you, Pumpkin. Thank you, Blue Animal. Thanks, Red WZ. Thank you, Kojak Horseman. Thank you, Disco Daddy. Bookworm, thank you. Thank you, Crumple. Thanks, Chud. Thank you, Hepta. Thank you, Temmie. Thank you, Gavarin. Thanks, Hildebilda. Thank you, Sokudan. Thanks, Tarantino Q. Thank you, Motho, Monty, Mario, and Mary Mars. Thank you, Other Fire Angel. Thank you, Tiki Mug. Thanks, Octopada. And thank you, Pasta Man. Thank you, Doomcat. Galaxy Dork. Maximus. Ninja 00283. Matt. Connor. Birche. Lil Zos. Chuck Quizmo. Jilly Bean. Murgatroyd 99. Knowledge. Goop-de-Roop, Dinky Smecker, Eva, Mibbles, Poop Chimp, Sky Dreamer, Veep, Nako, and Jimmy Dory. See you real soon.